currently working on cleaning up the shop so I can get back to work on the crawler. But I figured since I'm cleaning up and kind of organizing storage, I'd go over a little bit. So this is just a few of the things I take with me. I still got to finish it out, but we got some fuses. The main fuse for my crawler, I need to, I like to have a spare just in case I somehow short something, as well as just some normal blade fuses. Random bolt stuff for 3/8 for drive shaft bolts, plugs, AN fittings, power steering fittings, plugs, as well as like U-joint parts. I also carry like cotter pins, just extra ARB. And then this bin, I still need to put a couple bigger Heims in it, but I like to carry a spare Yukon hub as well as a drive flange. The reason for the drive flange is I run one on my rig right now, and then I run one Yukon hub. No particular reason except for when I street drive I can unlock one hub. But the drive flange is important in my opinion because for a Kingpin axle, Chevy versus Ford, the Chevy shaft, stub shaft is longer. So if somebody breaks an axle shaft and they need a stub shaft, I can give them a stub shaft and give them this slug right here, and they can put that in without cutting the axle shaft down. That way we don't have to ruin an axle shaft for no reason if they decide to give it back or whatever. But yeah, so I like to carry that. I like to carry a couple 7/8 Heims and a steering joint, just in case. Never know what's gonna happen. And then hub sockets, pretty important for the Chevy hubs. Just makes their life way easier. And then a drive shaft U-joint and a front axle U-joint. A couple wrenches. Obviously I have my toolkit as well, but this is just all easy to grab stuff. And then an air down tool. So yeah, that's kind of a basic storage setup that I run. Missing a few things at the moment, but I'll touch bases on it when we get the crawler ready for Trailer Challenge. All right, so when we cut the back end off, the old back end, it caught the brake lines and this side got arced. Plus I had a union in here that I wanted to delete anyways, so we're gonna redo the brake lines. This time we're going to do them on the front side of the axle. So I moved the T up here, so we'll just rod them down the axle and get the new brake lines made up, and then that way we can bleed them and move this thing again. The brake line matching the truss, coming down here and then kind of up around the coilover mount. I decided to move these from the back side so that my line didn't have to go all the way over to the top. So I'll just make a tab for this stuff, but let's do the other side. So I have the fuel cell just mocked up in here. I'm currently making a couple skid plates. The exhaust comes pretty close with about an inch from the fuel cell, maybe a little less. So I'm gonna make a couple heat shields. That way I don't have to worry about the exhaust getting too hot and hydrolocking. Yeah, just don't wanna worry about it. So making a couple skid plates or heat shields real quick out of some cardboard, and then we'll transfer them to aluminum and get them done. So the one for the rear side, it's going to be super simple. It's literally just a square with a hole in it. To mount it, I'll put a mount bracket on this end too, and then I'm going to do a slight bend in it. That way it kind of deflects the heat outwards so it doesn't go past the plate, hopefully, in theory. So let's get this one made and then we'll start on the next one. All right, so I cut a little corner out and made a simple heat shield. It's just got a little bend in it. This is small enough to bend in my press brake, but you need more than that little, like an inch and an eighth I think it was. So I just bent it the old school way with a big crescent wrench in the bench vise. Kind of ghetto, but it worked. So now, let's see, this should go right in here. And it should bolt up currently with this one bolt, which it does. And then I'll make one for the front real quick, but that should, in theory, deflect the heat from the exhaust and help us hopefully not hydrolock anything. Never had problems with that before, but since the exhaust is pretty close to it and I had nowhere else to fit the muffler, so it kind of has to come back here, just gonna build some heat shields just in case. So with this one, it's a little bit more tricky, but it goes all the way back to the back of the muffler. And then since I am here doing this already, I figured I might as well extend this out and use it as a heat shield from the cab. So get this one built real quick. I'm gonna measure how much longer I need it, and then probably do a little bend here just to kind of keep that muffler heat out of the back of my seats. All right, both skid plates are, I don't know why I keep calling them skid plates. Both heat shields are in, obviously not bolted up tight, but that's how it looks there. And then this one is also in. Once it's tightened up, it should kind of give it a little gap between the fuel cell. And then the front side, I like how it turned out. I'm not sure if I'll grind those walls down, but it should, yeah, it should keep the heat off of everything and hopefully keep the fuel cell not so hot. And we're good. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more progress on this thing so we can get it on the trail.